Hey there Pokemon fans, Fargerman101 here with another top 10 list for you. So this top 10 will be my top 10 least favourite Pokemon. So this was one of the most requested top 10s after the last my top 10 favourite Pokemon that I posted on there. That video got an absolute butt ton of views for this channel. I think it's one of the most viewed videos as well. And people asking what my least favourite Pokemon were was the question I got came up most in the comment section. So figured we'd put this video together for you guys and answer some of those questions. So just a quick disclaimer, obviously this is all personal opinion. The Pokemon on this list doesn't necessarily mean they're bad Pokemon. Some of your favourites might be on there. It also doesn't mean that some of these are bad competitively. In fact, some of them are very, very good competitive, which is partly why I don't like them particularly much. I'm sure some of you who have run afoul of them yourselves will agree with some of the choices on there. So without further ado, guys, we'll jump straight into the list. So number 10 is Zigzagoon. So anybody that's ever done run to trade will know what it's like when you hit that run to trade button, you get your hopes that you're going to get something really, really cool down, and you get one of these things. So Zigzagoon, because of the run to trade thing, and just because as soon as you play Auras, this thing just rocks up all the time, and it's a raccoon. So it's kind of cute, but it rummages through bins, I'm assuming. It gets all mucky, and yeah, it doesn't do a lot for me, I'm afraid. So unfortunately for Zigzagoon, mainly because of the Wonder Trade annoyance as well, he comes in there at number 10. Number 9 is Wurmple. So pretty much it was a top run thing between Zigzagoon and Wurmple. Both of these were on here for pretty much the same reasons. Wurmple is another one that just appears on Wonder Trade constantly, all the time, and I got so sick of battling my way through these at the start of Auras when you just want to get on with the story, and every 5 steps it's Wurmple, 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 Wurmple. Quite why Pokemon decide that they need a caterpillar to butterfly Pokemon in every single game is beyond me. And they're not always bad. I really like Pavilion, and obviously Butterfree has major nostalgic importance for most of us. So, but Wurmple is just yet another caterpillar to butterfly Pokemon, and as a result, sorry Wurmple, you're in at number 9. At number 8 we have Zubat. Now, I'm sure most of you can guess why this is on here. You know what it's like when you enter a cave on Pokemon? Every 2 seconds all you get is the encounter music and Zubat. Take 2 more steps, encounter music, Zubat. Take 1 more step, encounter music, Zubat. And all the time you're just thinking, I just want to get through this cave and get to the next gym or town, or to get something a bit more exciting than the Zubat. But no, these things are everywhere. And on X and Y, once again, as soon as you set foot in a cave, Zubats. Zubat, 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 everywhere. Don't get me wrong, its Crobat in its evolutions are really, really good and can put in some work competitively, but just because of how frustrating this thing was, particularly in the original games, and even on X and Y when they released those a couple of years ago, every 2 steps this thing appears is really, really a frustrating one. At number 7, we have Dragonite. Okay, so I'm sure this is going to disagree with a lot of you guys out there. Dragonite as a competitive Pokemon is probably one of the best competitive dragons out there, with multi-scale Dragon Dance, Weakness Policy, Elemental Punches and Outrage, and Extreme Speed makes it an absolute nightmare to deal with. But I've never been a big fan of Dragonite. As much as I like my dragons in Pokemon, this one just didn't gel. I mean, I think it's mainly because it kind of looks like Charizard's fatter, stupider brother. He's like, hello, and it looks so happy. At least Charizard is kind of a little bit, has a bit of a badass look to it, whereas this thing just looks a little bit on the derpy side. Maybe that's what it is, I don't know. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. Don't get me wrong, these things on Battle Spot are massively competitive and always take them very, very seriously when you're battling against one. But just as a design, just not feeling it. It kind of looks a bit stupid. It sort of looks like the sort of thing that would quite happily put its hand in the fire to get a marshmallow. You know? That sort of, hello, stupidness. But there we go. We'll move on to number 6. So number 6 is going to be Darkrai. So Darkrai, oh, let me count the ways what a pain in the butt you are. So Dark Void, everything. So Darkrai, for those that don't know, carries a move called Dark Void. On VGC doubles, or at least 3 battles if you're playing doubles, this thing will just Dark Void your entire team to sleep and then just Dream Eater you to death. It's not too bad now because I now know how to deal with it, but when I first started to go on VGC doubles, this thing drove me up the absolute wall. Thankfully now, Browden can come in, map punch and KO it, and so can Kelder. So we're not worrying too much about it these days, but still an absolute pain in the butt mom to deal with. Yes, it's cool design. Yes, it's very, very scary, particularly for a kid's game. It's quite dark, but just because of Dark Void and because of a result of this thing, Smeagol can learn Dark Void as well. It's another reason why I really don't like Darkrai. At number 5, we have Aegislash. So Aegislash is one of those mons that is massively used competitively and for very, very good reason. King Shield is such a great move, is not only protects you but also drops your opponent's attack stat. This thing can be used in numerous different ways, making it a real threat on battle spot because you never quite know what it's going to go for. Physically offensive it can be, or special offensive, or just all round defended with support. I think because it is so good, it's one of the reasons why I dislike this Pokemon. It just seems to, you never quite know what you're going to get, which makes it quite hard to deal with and quite hard to predict. And while it has got workarounds, it's one of those that probably suffers from being slightly too good. But again, that's just my opinion on it. As I say, some of the top ones on here are going to be some of the highly competitive mons, and unfortunately for Aegislash, it's just one of those that is just too good. As a result, you don't see many other ghost types competitively now. Aegislash seems to have taken over because of how many different uses it has got. At number 4, we have Klefki. Oh, Klefki. Klefki. You're on here for a few reasons. One, your design is atrocious. You're a keychain. You're a bunch of keys on a heart-shaped keychain. You're up there with Vanillux as one of the worst designed Pokemon of all time. However, unlike that one, you're really, really annoying competitively because you get Prankster and you get Substitute, Toxic, T-Wave, all those fun shenanigans, which makes you an absolute pain in the butt to deal with on Battle Spot. I hate this thing. It is literally up there with Togekiss in one of the most frustrating ones to play. Yes, it's got weaknesses and you can play against it, but I just find every time I come up across one of these, just the frustration factor just starts boiling over royally. At number 3, we have Talonflame. So, Talonflame is a mixed one for me. Don't get me wrong, when I first saw this mon before X and Y came out, I was like, oh my god, that is a beautifully designed Pokemon. And the only reason I didn't use one in the game is because I knew I was getting Charizard, and I didn't want 2 flying types on my team. But what can you say about Talonflame? And then it is such a beautifully designed mon, and then you go on Battle Spot. And Gale Rings gives it every single move that's flying type gets priority, and all you ever get on Battle Spot at that point is Brave Bird, everything. So there have been times where you've played a really good game, but this thing will then just come in and destroy your entire life with Brave Birds. And as a result, I'm afraid Talonflame, you make the list at number 3. At number 2, we have Kangaskhan, or to be more precise, Mega Kangaskhan. So probably the most overused Mega of the last few seasons on BattleSpot, definitely over the last 12 months to 2 years. Parental Bond is broken, massively broken. It destroys focus sashes. It can literally 1 to 2 hit KO pretty much anything in the meta, even defensive mons. It's a pain in the butt to deal with. It gets double hit fake out. What else can you say about Mega Kangaskhan? It will literally destroy entire teams without even looking twice if you haven't got a good check for it. And pretty much has centralised the meta game in both singles and VGC for quite a long time now. And as a result, I'm afraid Kangaskhan, you make number 2 on my list. And at number 1 for my least favourite Pokemon of all time, and for some of you that have seen some of the videos on the channels, then you can probably guess which one this is going to be. Number 2 is going to be Togekiss. So, first up, let me just say, I'm not a massive fan of the design. It kind of looks like a giant feathered wing minus the rest of the bird's body. Kind of. Or an iceberg. Could look like an iceberg, I suppose. So I'm not a big fan of the design of this thing. And then Serene, then obviously the biggest problem you get with Togekiss is Serene Grace, which increases the chances of getting a flinch. And then most Togekisses you will come across, or at least ones I always seem to come across, are T-Rave and Air Slash. And then your odds of getting a move off are around about 30% a turn. I've had whole games against this thing where I've literally been paraflinched to death and haven't got a move off any mon on my entire team because of this thing. Uh, I just find it a very cheap mon to use, very cheap move set, and I'm sure there's some of you guys out there that love this thing, and if you do, I'm really sorry and I apologise, but I just find this thing the most frustrating thing to deal with on Battle Spot easily, and I'm not a massive fan of the design either. So as a result, Togekiss, I'm afraid you are my least favourite Pokemon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, rating or comment down below. And stay tuned for some more Pokemon videos. If you would like another top 10 list or another countdown list, please let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see, and we'll have a look, and if any of them jump out at me, if anything gets more thumbs up or votes and anything else, we'll look at doing one of those in the future. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and if I don't see you around, I will see you on Battle Spot. Take care for now. Bye.